Bato and his journey of 1,000 miles. In the heart of the vibrant savanna, where baobab trees stretched towards the sky and rivers teemed with life, there was a small village called Nyama. It was a place of peace and simplicity, where the days were marked by the rhythm of drums and the laughter of children. But for Bato, a young man with dreams larger than the horizon, life in Nyama was too quiet. One morning, as the first rays of the sun bathed the land in gold, Bato stood before his parents' hut. His mother wept softly, and his father's eyes were heavy with both pride and worry. "I must go," Bato said firmly. "I cannot remain here tending goats while the world awaits. I will make a name for myself and return with stories that will inspire our people." His father placed a hand on his shoulder. "The road will be long, my son, but remember, true greatness is not in what you achieve, but in how you endure." With that, Bato set off, his spear in hand and his heart brimming with determination. Bato's first challenge came at the River of the Forgotten. The water shimmered eerily, and an old ferryman warned him. "Many who cross this river lose themselves," the man said, his voice trembling. "The river steals your memories if your heart is not pure." Bato, undeterred, waded into the water. As he crossed, shadows from the depths reached out, whispering forgotten names and showing fleeting images of faces he didn't recognize. He clutched his spear tightly and began to sing an old song his mother taught him, grounding himself in his roots. When he reached the other side, he found a small pouch of gemstones left by the river spirit as a token of his courage. His journey led him to the Whispering Hills, a place where the wind carried the voices of ancestors. It was said that those who climbed the hills would be tested by their deepest fears. As Bato climbed, the whispers grew louder, and visions of his failures appeared before him. He saw himself returning to Nyama, defeated and mocked by his people. Fear gripped him, but he remembered his father's words, "True greatness is in how you endure." He shouted back at the wind, "I will not be defined by fear." The wind stilled, and an ancient figure appeared, a man draped in leaves and carrying a staff. "You have faced your fear and proven your resolve," she said, handing him a staff adorned with intricate carvings. "This will guide you through the darkness ahead." Days turned into weeks as Bato reached the desert of shadows, an endless expanse of scorching sand. Here, the sun was merciless, and the nights were colder than the deepest caves. One night, as Bato rested under a lone acacia tree, shadowy creatures emerged from the darkness. Their hollow eyes glowed red, and they spoke in haunting tones. "Why do you struggle? Turn back, and we shall grant you endless comfort." Bato raised the staff he had received from the Whispering Hills. Its carvings glowed, casting light that banished the shadows. "Comfort without purpose is emptiness," he declared. The creatures hissed and disappeared, leaving behind a clay jar filled with water that never ran dry, a gift for his endurance. At last, Bato reached the fabled kingdom of the Golden Sun, a place said to hold treasures and knowledge beyond imagination. But the kingdom was under siege by a monstrous serpent that coiled around the palace, its scales shimmering like molten gold. The king, desperate, promised his daughter's hand in marriage, and half his kingdom, to anyone who could defeat the beast. Many warriors had tried and failed. Bato stepped forward, armed with his spear, the staff, and the gemstones. He devised a plan. He used the gemstones to distract the serpent, throwing them one by one. When the serpent lunged for the final gem, Bato struck its exposed underbelly with his spear, piercing its heart. The serpent let out a final deafening roar before collapsing. Bato stayed in the kingdom of the Golden Sun for a year, learning from its wise elders and marrying the princess. But he never forgot his promise to return to Nyama. When he finally came back, he was no longer the young man who had left. He was a leader, carrying the staff of wisdom, the clay jar of resilience, and tales of bravery. The villagers gathered around him, listening in awe as he recounted his journey. Bato's name became a legend, his story a beacon of hope. He reminded his people that greatness was not in riches or titles, but in the courage to face trials and the strength to endure. And so, Bato, the boy who left with nothing but dreams, became the man who brought back the wisdom of 1,000 miles.